Well, Dee, on Saturday, I lost my Felco pruners.
Oh, no, you're kidding me.
No, but the good news is on Sunday, I found my Velcro pruners.
Okay, but I guess I'm asking, okay, I'm very glad. All right, so what
Do you want to
next?
know where I found them?
Sure, I would love to know where you found them.
I found them in the attic.
What? What? How? How did you find?
How did I find them in the attic?
Yeah,
I went and looked.
but why were they in the attic? Why would your Velcro pruners get lost in the attic and found in the attic? That would be the real point to
Okay,
this teaser.
so I had been working out in the yard
Uh-huh,
and I was sitting in the garage taking a break, having me a soda or
yeah.
water. And I looked up at the ceiling and I thought, those look like water spots, like brownish water spots that have
So you went
dried.
to check them out.
So I thought I need to go in the attic and check because it's right above the ridge line. And I did get a new roof in May.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't really see anything up there, but I crawled up in there and it must have fallen out and right by the opening into the insulation. And so then I couldn't find them. And so then Sunday, after I was working in the garden with an alternate pair of pruners, I was already dirty anyway. The attic is just filthy up there. I went up and I could just see a little tiny bit of red sticking out of the insulation. I thought,
Thank goodness those handles are red.
exactly. I thought, oh, anyway. So
So, yay. That's a
yay.
piece of really good news. Shall we welcome everybody?
Yes. And we do want to explain we are recording on Monday.
Yes.
Carol will be hustling to get this out by Tuesday morning. And it might be Tuesday afternoon. Don't be mad at us,
Yes.
but we have a
It's
good reason.
we do. My dear granddaughter, she came over and unexpectedly on Sunday. We had to reschedule on Friday because Bill had a doctor's appointment. Then we were going to do it Sunday, and then they showed up 15 minutes before I was supposed to record. And since they live only 8 minutes away, it didn't occur to them to call me first and check to see if I was doing anything.
No.
Well, of course not. So I don't, are we going to try to do a newsletter this week, or are we just going to?
Yes, I'm gonna get it all. I'm gonna take care of the newsletter and the recording, so you don't have to have like a timeout to listen to the recording again. I'll be out there. It'll be done. It may not be done by Tuesday morning
Right.
at 8 a.m., but it'll be done.
So as usual, Carol is a trooper. Thank you, Carol.
You're welcome. But we cannot be done unless we get started, and that is your cue to get us going.
Welcome to the Garden Angelus, where we chat about flowers, veggies, and all the best dirt. I am Dee Nash from Guthrie, Oklahoma, where I still have a large garden out in the country, and the guys are blowing the leaves, and I can hear them through my earpods. So I hope it's not coming through on the recording.
It is not. I am Carol Michael from Indianapolis, Indiana. I have a suburban garden measured in square feet. It's about a third of an acre. And earlier they were blowing leaves at the neighbor behind, and I can't hear it now when I'm at the other end of the house. So we're good.
Well, that's good news because it kind of drives me crazy. We are Garden Angelists because we love gardening. We want you to love it too. And I have a garden coaching client this afternoon I'm going to teach to love gardening.
Yes, we do love gardening, and we aren't afraid to spill all of our gardening secrets, the good ones, the bad ones, and even the ugly ones that embarrass us to death. Let's move on to this week's episode. Good afternoon, Dee.
Good Monday afternoon, Carol. We've never ever pushed it this close, have we?
No,
I didn't think so.
no.
Okay, so updates. What did you do in your garden?
Well, I would like to say, as I reported in my weekly newsletter, which I would like everybody that listens to this to subscribe to it. I know they don't all do, but anyway, we had 4 seasons last week.
Oh, all four.
All
I love it
four.
when we do that in
All
Oklahoma. That's
four.
awesome. Yeah.
So on Monday we had winter because we had snow.
Yeah, you had snow.
Yeah. And then it kind of felt a little bit more spring like on Tuesday. And I went out and the honeyberry that blooms in, I don't know, mid-April had a few little blooms pushed out. I'm thinking bad, bad, bad.
Bad honeyberry.
Summer returned on Friday and Saturday, was kind of warm, like 70. I think yesterday, Sunday was Saturday was 72, abundant sunshine. And then through it all, there's autumn still dropping all the leaves
Yeah.
off the trees.
Yeah.
So I did go out on Saturday and I pruned back all kinds of shrubs and trees to clear away for the new fence. So my rationale is that Dee is frozen. Are you frozen? No, you're not
You
frozen.
are frozen, but you're unfrozen now. So keep going. It'll be
Okay.
okay.
My rationale was to trim everything back nicely, and that way it would be better than them breaking stuff off.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
So then Sunday it was so nice, and I made this big decision that I was going to call somebody to come take the big pile of limbs because I had a pretty big pile of limbs because I cut back um oh I, a big one of those like 6-8 feet tall hydrangeas.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's either Annabelle or Limelight. I never remember. Limelight. I cut it back by about half because you can do that and it'll come back up. I had a huge big pile. And I thought on Sunday, it's like, just have somebody come take that, Carol. Don't try to get that all in your truck and take that yourself. Have somebody take that. And then I thought, if you're having somebody take that, you should prune more stuff. And so I said, Carol, you are brilliant. So I cut back the smoke bush trees that I normally cut back in early spring. I went ahead and cut those back all the way as far as I could. I don't care if they come back. And then I thought, you know
They
what?
will.
I
They'll
should
come back just fine.
I should cut back that wisteria because the support it's on is not very sturdy. And I've got it sort of jerry rigged. I'm thinking, I'm cutting that to the ground. As I cut it to the ground and I'm untwining those wooden things off there. And so I have a huge pile. And that kind of sums up the week for me. I mowed, I put
Wow.
leaves on I sucked up all the ginkgo leaves. I put leaves on the vegetable garden beds. Only have one left to cover. I did cut back the fig trees. I cut those way back as I always do, so I can get those covered with leaves. Although they do a good job of dropping their own leaves and covering up, so not much work.
So I want you to say something about the fig trees. Figs bloom and produce fruit on
New wood.
new wood. And so therefore you can cut them all the way to the ground as much as you want to. And they will produce fruit next year, assuming that they don't freeze out. And yours don't because you cover them with the leaves, correct? Just making sure.
And that is all very correct.
For all
Dee.
of our newer listeners, because I
So
knew
anyway, I have been quite busy, Oh, and I
My
went to garden
word.
club last Monday. Went to garden
Lord.
club. Been quite busy.
Busy girl.
Busy. Oh, I wrote a Garden Bloggers Bloom Day post too. And the Garden Fairies posted.
My gosh. Okay.
What did you manage to do with your week, Dee?
I need applause here.
Applause,
I
applause, applause.
planted the garlic with my granddaughter. All of our
Yay.
listeners will be glad won't have to hear it anymore. She is really a good gardener too. When she came over on Sunday, I said, Maddie, we need to go out and plant the garlic because I am not going to go on that podcast again and say it's not planted. And it was all just fine. And I would make a little row for her, and she'd put those down, and she even puts them down right. Like the bottom, it's like she's born
So
gardener.
how long did this take, even with the child's help?
15 minutes. I know.
Who said? Never mind. Go ahead.
It was you said. I also watered and fed the house plants and the plants in the greenhouse. And then there's a problem in the greenhouse with the flaps on top, and Bill and Megan and Robert tried to fix it. It's very complicated. I've done it with Bill before. They are not opening and closing correctly, but right now they're closed. We have had summer all week long. I think we had one kind of chilly, rainy day, which was Monday because it was the same as yours. And then it's been basically the land of eternal summer, except that the trees have all turned colors and a bunch of them have lost their leaves. So I know that it's fall, but it doesn't really feel like fall. So there you go. So let's play favorites.
Okay. My favorite, Viburnum Juddii, has the best fall color out in my front area. It smells really sweet when it's in bloom in the spring. It has great color all summer long, real dark green. In the winter, well, in the fall, the color is magnificent. I posted it on my Instagram, the color of it. And in the winter and really all year round, it provides shelter for all the little birds that I'm feeding out here. And there have been a ton. And it's like, you guys are eating a lot. This cannot go on all winter. You need to slow down.
Haha, they won't. We put up our bird feeders in Thanksgiving, on Thanksgiving. And
next week.
Yeah, next week we'll put up our bird feeders, which we're gonna have to clean out the can of bird food because it got some rain in it because of a raccoon.
Tisk tisk.
I dislike raccoons. Okay, my favorite this week is the perfect orange post oak that is at the beginning of my neighborhood. It was lit with evening sunlight as we drove by, and we were going to dinner last night. And I made Bill stop and back up. And he was like, "What am I backing up for?" And I said, "That tree." And we got right next to it, and I snapped a picture of it against that blue sky.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, "Okay, I get it. That is really something." And it is. So it would be that, or I also have this purple pansy in my front flower bed that is perfection.
We're
So
going to
I'll
go with the
probably
pansy over
no,
oak.
no, we're not. We're gonna go with both.
You're
And
going to send me a picture of that pansy.
I'm gonna send you a picture of both of them, and you're gonna put them in the newsletter. That
I
would be
am.
awesome.
I
So
am.
that's my favorite. How about the question of the week? I will ask it because
No,
it's
no,
to
I'm
you,
going to
isn't it?
ask it and you're going to
Oh,
answer it.
all right.
I got an email from listener Kim and she says, "Hi, Carol. Not quite sure where to post questions for the podcast. We'll tell you later in a minute. I have some pass along irises that did not bloom in the year I have had them.
Mm-hmm.
They might be planted too deeply. Should I give them more time as is, or should I pull them up and raise them up so that part of the bulby part is visible? If so, now or in spring? The prediction for our Dallas, Texas area is that our winter will be mild. Thanks, Kim."
Okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm supposed to answer this one, right?
Yes, I answered on
Okay.
email, but I told her you would more definitively answer on the podcast.
Okay, so if they're bearded irises, which I assume they are, yes, they are supposed to be planted shallow enough that you can see that bulb, that rhizome. It has to have sunlight on it in order to get enough energy in order to bloom. That's number one. Number two, you've only had them a year, and so they might not have bloomed because it's only been a year. And sometimes it takes a perennial a little longer. In fact, usually it's 2 years when I plant a new iris before I get anything because irises bloom. So they create that one, they bloom on that fan, and then that part dies and they send up another one. So that's how they work. Now, as far as moving them up, oh, and don't mulch them. Don't put mulch right up on your iris rhizomes either. That's not good for them either. Um, I'm just going to tell you what I would do. I would move them now. I would do it now.
That's what I told
Um,
her I'd do. I'd move them now and make sure that you could see the little tops of the rhizomes when she plants them. She still
yeah,
may
I
be 2
think
years from bloom, but at least it would
right.
be that problem would be taken care of.
Right, because they definitely need that sun on top of their shoulders, as it were.
Cool.
Insect of the week. Okay, you ready?
Yeah. When I was mowing, I
Uh-huh.
saw this big black woolly caterpillar. It had to be, gosh, I'm going to say 3 inches long and
Wow.
kind of, like a pretty nice fur all over it and really black and kind of sparkling. I thought, what are you? Of course, I stopped mowing and I took a picture. I'm thinking, I'm glad I didn't kill you. Um, I think I know what it was.
Yeah, you wrote it down. And you also asked, don't I love moths? Yeah, I do. I love them. I think they're beautiful.
So
And
I
that
think
is one of the prettiest moths that ever was created by the
I
good Lord.
I think it is a giant leopard moth, and I looked it up on the North Carolina State Extension Service, I think. And it
Yep.
is native to much of this area, probably native over into your neck of the woods.
It's definitely native. I've seen them.
And they do overwinter in the larval stage, and this was in the larval stage. So I took its picture, which is it's not a great picture. I took it so that I could try to ID it,
Right.
not because it's like, let's show people a picture
It
of a
was not
black
a beauty
caterpillar.
shot, as you
No,
would say. Yeah.
no, no, not like the adult. We'll leave a link so people can go see what a giant leopard moth looks like. I will
Hmm.
be on the lookout for them next summer
They really are beautiful and
because
they're
I
big.
know. Yeah, I don't recall ever seeing one, but I believe I have just seen the larval stage.
And somebody's going to be cranky about me blowing my leaves away. I do it because of the ticks.
Yes, and you should
That's
do it.
why.
Yes, absolutely.
If we didn't have ticks, I would pull them and probably shred some of them. But as we know, leaf mold is perfect larval, whatever, for ticks. It's a good nesting ground for
So, but
ticks.
are they going to physically remove the leaves from the property, or are they
No,
putting
they
them?
just blow them to the edge.
Yes. And so they're not going bye, 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 bye. They're
No,
just,
but some people think it's really bad because it disturbs the creatures in the leaves. But here's the deal. Most of the creatures in my leaves are ticks and they have to go. I had to, in fact, I did a garden coaching. Can be part of my update. I'm sorry. It's a little out of order, but I went and did a garden coaching deal and they live in the woods. And I said, you guys have got to be more careful because they had leaves everywhere. And it turns out that her next door neighbor has alpha gal. And
I need to.
I said, you guys need all this stuff. So I sent them all my alpha gal information. And I said, seriously, it can make you really, really sick. And then her husband, I mean, he didn't seem too concerned at first, but then when he started to hear what happened to me, he was like, okay, yeah, I gotcha. Because people think it's just a meat allergy.
Right.
I
Right.
wish. Okay, moving on. Let's do the quote.
Well, I was going to say, um, wait till the We Do Not Care segment.
Okay.
Okay. Dee has given me a poem called Leaves by Elsie N. Brady. I did not look her up. I do not know who she is. I will do a
Oh,
poetry
yeah.
reading.
It's great. It's a great quote, though.
How silently they tumble down and come to rest upon the ground, to lay a carpet rich and rare beneath the trees without a care, content to sleep, their work well done, colors gleaming in the sun. At other times, they wildly fly until they nearly reach the sky, twisting, turning through the air, till all the trees stand stark and bare, exhausted, drop to earth below, to wait like children for the snow.
Isn't
And
that
D,
lovely?
it is. And I'm so tempted to say, and then they shelter Lone Star ticks. And we say that's enough of this. And so we kick them to the curb and take those ticks along with you or something.
That's
Anyway,
good. You just did that off the cuff. That's
I
awesome.
did. I did. But I thought that, well, I need to, there's like a tick stanza that belongs in here.
Yeah, I don't walk through leaves anymore. Not unless I have on boots and tick clothing. Okay, so the flowers, we decided to do repens.
Repens is the species name. And
Mm-hmm.
I did some research the other day.
You
And
did.
so most of the plants, if you go to the very bottom of that list, it says they are ground huggers. So
Yeah.
many are vigorous spreaders. Some are invasive because they spread by stolons or runners along the ground. So if you see a plant and it says repens or repens, it is a ground cover. It
Mm-hmm.
probably has runners and stolons. And so there are four to talk about today in the flower section.
So what I wanted to also add is the reason we are doing these is because botanical Latin, or sometimes Greek, is really, really helpful in classifying certain attributes of certain plants. So if you see that, it really helps you. And
Yes,
so
we're
now you know,
stealth teaching botanical Latin.
yes, we
Stealth
are
teaching.
botany. We're doing botany. And also, what's that word? The other word of it for it when you talk about botanical Latin. I'll have to think about it. Anyway, we're
Another
teaching
word
that
for it.
too. There's another word for it, but I can't think of what it is right now. But it's
I
classification, is what it is.
yes.
Okay, and actually, some of the classification no longer counts, and things keep getting moved around because of DNA testing, because now they know that certain things should be together based on DNA, but sometimes they look nothing alike, and so it's always a quandary. All right, but we're going to do these. Four. Go.
That's correct. Trifolium repens, which we have talked about before. This is white clover.
Mhm.
If you look it up on the Missouri Botanical Garden site, it has a big red letter that says, do not plant. This is a thing that'll spread, invasive. But
Isn't this Dutch clover?
yes, this is Dutch white clover. And
That's
there
what I thought it was because I saw the picture and I was like, that's Dutch white clover, which I actually love in my garden, but it's not invasive here. I mean,
it
it's in
will
my
spread.
grass.
It's in my grass and it will spread. And I don't really care. I love it. Like I
I do
said,
too.
my great nephews and great nieces, that's like part of the Easter tradition is to run out there and look for 4-leaf clovers. But if you are looking for a perfect lawn, you don't want to sow white clover. But the advantage of sowing white clover is it is a nitrogen fixer, so it actually helps to add nutrition for the grasses.
Right. Which is why it used to be in grass seed
It used to
back in
be
the
until the
day.
1940s and early
Yeah.
50s when they decided that it would be better to sell us all the herbicides to get rid of everything that wasn't grass.
Right.
The other thing,
Monoculture.
and for a while, and you can still buy them, and up at the greenhouse, she had them. I would call them specialty clovers where they
I
had,
remember I had one this spring.
yeah, the Atropurpurea and a couple of others, and they were really kind of pretty, I thought. And
I think they are.
she didn't have them this spring, and she says, yeah, people kind of got over it. It was a novelty
Yeah.
thing, and then people kind of got over it, but I would definitely buy them again. So,
Yeah, I think they're pretty, and they usually come out around March because of St. Patrick's Day,
mhm,
and I really enjoy them, and I play with them until I'm done with them, and then I let them go.
yeah.
They're
And
they're just
so
a fun plant.
my nephew and his wife had extensive remodeling done on the house to the point where their little backyard was completely wiped out. And so she actually wanted to sow clover with the grass seed. And I said, sure. And I helped her find a source for it and sow away.
Yeah, because it does feed the bees too. So the next one is a Juga Reptens, and that's bugleweed, carpet bugleweed, and it does spread by rhizotomous stems and extremely easy to grow here. I don't know what it's like up there.
Extremely easy to grow here as well. In fact, and we should point out that the species name on this and this one is reptans instead of
Oh,
repens.
sorry,
Same deal. Same deal.
reptans. Yeah, same thing. So the other part about this is there's several varieties within the bugleweed group, the
Oh,
Ajuga
yeah.
root.
Yeah.
One of the one of the prettiest ones is chocolate chip. There's black scallop. All the dark ones are really cool. And then there's one
Yes.
that's a pinkish color that I can't think of off. I didn't write it down, so I can't think of it off the top of my head. It's pretty too. I will say black scallop is much more hardy in Oklahoma than the other varieties. And sometimes it just disappears. I mean, I've had it where it like bordered an entire, like my garage border. It was just the front of it, it was just on there and it looked so great for about 2 years. I mean, like it took it about 3 years to get going. And then for 2 years, it looked great. And then the next year it was gone. It just
It,
died out.
huh. Yeah, I have a little patch of it, and I'm guessing that years ago I got a trial plant at the Garden Com conference and brought it
Yeah.
home. And it was out, it's out there in the edge of the vegetable or the plopper's field. And I thought I didn't go over there and look to see if it was still there. I mean, it just kind of gets smothered up by other plants. If you have a dry, sunny area, this is a good plant and you want to just put a ground cover on there. I think this is a
Mhm.
great one. I don't think that they always disappear.
No,
Um,
not always. And actually, one of the other ones is Bronze Beauty, and it's pretty tough.
I think I have
So,
Bronze Beauty. That's the one I think
yeah,
I have.
it's a pretty tough one. I think it might be more on the ones with the darker leaves because they're more of a
Yeah. Now, my
specialty item.
recollection as a ground cover, it does flower. And so some people may want to cut off the dried flower stems just so it's a little nicer looking later.
And also, it doesn't put any effort into seed if it's going to. And I'm not saying it is, I don't know. It blooms really early in late spring. It blooms late spring, early summer, really late spring. And it's just really pretty and it has purpley blue blooms. Very pretty plant. All right, Veronica Repens.
Creeping Speedwell. And this one, if you have a rock garden, like a sunny rock garden, Veronica Repens is that's your baby.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I know this one. Yeah, it's fine. It's just a plant.
Yeah. As it says on it says where from wherever I got this link, I think it's Missouri Botanical Garden. It's not particularly floriferous, doesn't have very
No,
many
it's green.
flowers.
It's green.
Tiny purple flowers above the foliage, primarily in the spring. It's again, if you need a mat forming plant and you just want some greenery and it's a small garden, this is not your big garden plant at all. It's
It
tiny,
doesn't spread
tiny.
very much. No,
Yeah.
it's very small.
Yeah.
So it would not work in an area that you were trying to do like a big area.
No,
So,
this is where you can see it close up.
yeah.
Okay, then the last one that I came up with was Mahonia Repens, creeping Oregon grape.
I don't think I know this plant.
Have you seen Oregon grape before?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
It's a
Oh, I do know this plant. Yeah.
yes,
Creeping
yes,
Mahonia.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Eh,
yeah,
eh.
yeah.
Basically, this whole series is pretty boring, except for the Ajuga might be not so boring.
Now I think Mahoney is a very lovely plant. It has really spiny, leathery, bluish green foliage. So if you have a
Hmm.
deer problem, I'm suspecting that deer will not eat Mahonia.
No, I don't think they would either. And it says here that the yellow stem wood was used by Native Americans to produce yellow dyes and a bitter tonic.
Yes,
And
and
it's
then the berries are very, very sour, but they are edible and you can use them in jellies. We should have put this in the vegetable section, but anyway,
oops. Oh well. It's
no.
also synonymous with Berberis repens. So it's the same plant. It's just
Yeah.
been put in the Mahonia class. Again, one of those deals, probably the DNA. Um, is it native then? It
Yes,
must be native. Yeah.
it's native.
Okay, cool.
Pretty sure it's native.
I mean, if the Indians were using it, I would say so.
Yes.
Okay, and then oh, you have another one. You have a house plant.
Oh, yeah, I did add a house plant down
You
there. Have you
did.
seen this one, turtle vine?
I'm gonna look it up because I don't think so. But
Calesia repens. It's called turtle vine. I looked it
oh, I
up.
have seen it. It's cute. I think they also call it baby's tears,
I don't know about
maybe.
that, but it's a beautiful succulent. It says it produces tiny leaves on deep purple stems.
It is really cute.
And
It'd be
they
so much
have
fun.
different varieties that display pink, yellow, or white leaves. And I'm thinking, oh, I kind of don't need more house plants, but that might be a nice one.
That one's really cute. And it says that they're also known as inch plant, creeping inch plant, and creeping basket plant. So
Do
there
you
you
want
go.
you one now?
No, because I'm having trouble with all of my house plants right now.
Maybe
You
this
know,
would be the one that would convince you to take better care of all your house plants.
Carol, it ain't gonna happen. I forget about them all summer every
Really, because
year.
I'm on the look for turtle vine now. I want
Uh,
this.
okay, well, you get it. I think you
Okay,
should have
I
it.
will. And then you can be jealous. Do a quote and let's talk about vegetables. Repens in the vegetable garden.
Our Father, fill our hearts, we pray, with gratitude, Thanksgiving Day, for food and raiment thou dost give, that we in comfort here may live. And that's by Luther Cross, and it's Thanksgiving Day because Thanksgiving
Thanksgiving is next week.
next week.
It's about as late as
Dang
it can
it.
ever be, the 27th.
And it feels like it got here super fast, you know?
And that is also my one of my great nieces. It's her birthday.
Oh, I love
So
that.
yeah. But they're not having a party until like Saturday. So we can
Yeah,
I'm still gonna take her birthday card with money in it.
nice. Always appreciated.
Exactly.
So for our vegetable section, you said repens in the vegetable garden? Not really, but, and actually they're, yeah, wild strawberries. Of course.
So wild strawberries, no one would intentionally grow wild strawberries. And though it is called Fragaria or Frigeria repens,
Uh-huh.
when you look it up, it's really mostly called Frigeria virginiana
Or Vesca. You have Vesca too.
or for yeah. And
And the
so, but
word I was trying to think of was taxonomy.
yes,
Yes, unfortunately it's in here. So it's either for Fragaria or Frigeria Vesca or Virginiana, which means what, ladies and gentlemen? That it was found in Virginia first by
exactly.
whoever names these things.
So I think that some of our modern hybrids that Frigeria or Frigaria repens, wild strawberries, is in their genealogy, so to
Of
speak.
course,
They have
because they
been
put out
crossed.
runners.
Yes. And so it has that classic repens behavior where it wants to kind of keep spreading out and keep controlling the ground and everything, which is, why you would plant your strawberries in narrow beds and try to keep it from getting all those runners because you want it to produce fruit instead.
Yes, yes. That is something you learn when you grow strawberries. And then you have rubus repens.
Never heard of this one before, but I
Oh.
left it on the list because it's not really edible. But
But it's in the vegetables section.
it has the common names of star violet or false violet or robin runaway. I don't know. I'm just gonna It's just like a new plant to me, to you, to
I've
everybody. And
never
it
heard of
has,
it.
when you look at the picture of it, it has leaves that are reminiscent of violets, but it has like a little white, I would say almost star-shaped flower.
Oh,
So,
I've seen this. I have this actually as a weed.
and then, yes, and then another common name is dewberry. Yeah, it is a weed.
Yeah, it's a weed. I know
Yeah.
this plant. I know this plant well. I pull it up. Okay, well, that was cool. I
Yes.
enjoyed our Repens. I think it's
Well,
interesting.
the reason and I like, why are there not any repens for the vegetable garden is because most of the time they breed vegetables to grow up and not out. And so,
Sure. So they don't take up
um,
as much space and also can produce fruit going upward.
yeah, because who wants to pick up all the fruit off the ground?
Yeah, that's why strawberries can be such a pain
That's why they call them strawberries.
because you're supposed to put straw with them
Well,
as
people
mulch.
would put straw as underneath the plants so that the berries were not just directly on the ground
Right, because then slugs and stuff eat them.
in
Ask
birds.
me how I know this, Carol.
I'm going to guess that slugs and snails and puppy dog tails have eaten your strawberries.
You think? Yeah, and turtles. Sometimes turtles eat them.
I
And
want a
bunnies.
turtle vine. Just kidding.
Okay, you can get it. Go. As I put on Instagram the other day, I am not the friend to keep you from buying things. I'm like, you go for it. Buy all you
Exactly.
want
Well, you
to.
said that. I mean, well, I did kind of blame you for stuff last week in the
Yeah,
podcast.
you did. You did do that.
What is
Okay,
it I
anything
bought that
else
I
you?
said you? Oh, yeah, I bought houseplants.
Yeah, you said that I did it to you, but I did not.
I'll do a quote so we can go to the bookshelf.
Let's do it.
She preferred most of all to live with flowers and music and to have a book in quiet solitude. Herman Hesse.
And on our bookshelf, because of Teresa Byington, is Vintage Roses, Beautiful Varieties for Home and Garden by Jane Eastoe. And oh my goodness,
I got the
this book.
library book. So if you get your books at the Indianapolis Public Library, give it another week or two, or go ahead and put it on hold. It's going to show back up in another week
Oh
or
my
so, and then you can go get it.
gosh. This
Tell
is a
us.
beautiful, beautiful book. And I it gives a little bit of history about roses. This picture. Oh, look at that.
Look at all of them, Dee.
I know there is not, this book is just full of beautiful photographs and information about different roses and about the history of roses, how to grow them technically, but mostly it's about different varieties. It also
Yes.
talks about the roses symbol, but then it comes in and tells you all these different roses. And a bunch of them I have grown and a bunch of them I have not grown.
And by the way,
Um,
because the photography is so beautiful, we should say that Georgiana Lane is the photographer. This book came out in
17, didn't you say?
2017.
Yeah, but it was worth buying. This is a plant that was in my garden for 35 years.
What is that?
Old blush.
Yeah, I
Eventually
look.
they all died. It's a China and it has these kind of tissue paper blooms, but it was also called common monthly because it blooms every month until it's just cold as cold. And it's beautiful, smells good, and because it's a China rose, the blooms darken as they age instead of getting lighter as they age. You can always
Yeah.
tell you've got a China. Which one's that one?
Ballerina.
I grew ballerina
I
probably
have
45 years
ballerina is
ago.
one of the like three roses in my garden. One of them, because I put it on Instagram and said, "What is this?" And everybody said ballerina. So
Yeah, ballerina is definitely one that people know. But I've grown almost all of these often because some of them are historical roses. And when I first started growing roses, I only grew antique ones. Now I grow antique ones and good modern hybrids. And they have both in here. I grew Hansa, which is a rugosa. Rugosas are really interesting roses because they have very rough leaves.
uh-huh.
They're extremely cold tolerant. They do not like to ever be sprayed with anything because their leaves absorb that spray.
Well, and I believe I just read that ballerina was a hybrid musk. It has musk parentage. I will also say, and I am remembering something from when I was in college, Dee.
I'm ready for it. Give it to me.
Rosa rugosa is the musk rose.
Yep.
And we were also told that those are tolerant of salt spray.
They are. You were
And
right.
so if you planting by the ocean, or I suppose, I don't know if the salts we use for like snow melting count. But anyway,
Yeah, I don't know
Tough
either.
Roses. It's a beautiful book. I'm going to absorb it, enjoy it, and then I'm going to return it to the library.
I'm going to keep it on my bookshelf and probably open it up how I display books on my, my coffee table.
Uh-huh.
Not my coffee table, my sofa table. I usually have a book open to something beautiful,
There
gardening
you go.
wise,
That'll be lovely.
every year. So, and I'll just say, right now in that spot, I have a whole, it's like a bread bowl and it
Uh-huh.
has rose rocks in it. And
I saw
I
that.
recently did a video on rose rocks
I saw
out in
that.
the garden. So that relates to roses too, because they're shaped like roses. All right,
Anyway,
Vintage Roses, Beautiful Varieties for Home and Garden by Jane Eastoe. Thank you to our friend Teresa Byington at the Rose Chat podcast for the suggestion of this book. She is my greatest rose enabler. All things rose.
she's a rose enabler to everybody.
She is, but she actually texts me all spring long, and I end up buying several. Have nowhere to put them, but it's awesome. All right, ready for the next quote?
I am.
When the trees their summer splendor change to raiment red and gold, when the summer moon turns mellow and the nights are getting cold, when the squirrels hide their acorns and the woodchucks disappear, then we know that it is autumn, loveliest season of the year. And that's by Carol Reiser, and it's a poem called Autumn. We are doing poetry this week.
I
Do you know who
guess.
Carol Reiser is?
No.
I think you should write her down. I think you should write that other one down. You might have two more lost ladies we didn't know about.
Could be.
So Carol found our dirt a couple of weeks ago, and we're going to do it now.
Well, I know you don't buy almanacs.
The Farmer's Almanac? No, I don't.
So there are two almanacs out there. There's the Farmer's Almanac, and then there's the Old Farmer's Almanac. And they're both, I think, over 200 years old. And I think the Old Farmer's Almanac is actually older. But
Mm-hmm.
sadly, the Farmer's Almanac, the 2026 issue, is its last one, shuttering up, out of business, going away.
That's too bad.
So
I
end
think
of an
there's a lot
era.
of that going on.
But Old Farmer's Almanac, they wanted you to know, is continuing. And I thought, oh, I need to buy the 2026 Old Farmer's Almanac because I always do, and I haven't yet. So I'm like, I gotta find that. I gotta go to the Barnes and
Usually
Noble
at
or
the
somewhere.
grocery store or Barnes and Noble
I looked
has
at
them.
sometimes they have it at Sam's Club. I was there last week, didn't see it, but I thought I'll just go to Barnes and Noble. I'll find it, or Meyer, someplace. Anyway,
Very
that's our dirt.
interesting.
We'll leave a link
Okay,
so
now
people
you
can
get to
read it
do.
on their own.
Okay, now you get to do another poem.
This one is confusing to me. I will read it. The last seed falls from the sunflower, empty pond. The long awaited rattle of rain on rooftops, Thanksgiving Day. Michael P. Garofalo cuttings.
Garofalo. Yeah,
Garofalo.
cuttings. I think it's the way it's written as though he's just taking little snippets.
Yes. I was like, this is oddly punctuated. And I actually put in the first lines to say, did Dee just copy that wrong?
No, it's the way it was put up. So
No.
rabbit holes. I'm trying to think if I have a rabbit hole. Why don't you do yours and I'll think about it?
So I did discover or went down a rabbit hole for Florence Knock.
Okay.
All she grew, well, she grew a lot of different things, but the only book she ever wrote, and she was 78 years old when she published this book, was Passifloras, the passion flower vine.
Mhm.
And they said she had probably the largest collection of passion flowers of anybody in North America. This is not a hardy vine. There are some hardy varieties, but she was growing the tropical looking ones. And she lived in Minnesota.
Yeah, I was going to say there are some varieties that are perennial here in Oklahoma, but I
Yes.
can't imagine anything passion flower is perennial in Minnesota. But you know what? Maybe we'll have somebody from Minnesota write us and go, you know what?
No, I mean,
Maypops are.
what she would do is she would grow these really exotic looking passion flowers from all
Right,
over.
the really fancy tropical ones.
She
Uh-huh.
would take cuttings in the fall and overwinter them inside and then go back and plant them out again in the spring, and they'll have enough growth that they will flower and everything. And she had a large collection, and she wrote a book about them from 1965. Now, Here's something really interesting, Dee. Do you
What's that?
remember me talking about Elvin McDonald, who used to work for Better Homes and Gardens people?
Yes, yes,
75 plus garden books.
yes.
So Florence starts out her book by saying, with something like, with greatest thanks to my friend Elvin McDonald.
See, garden writers were friends back then, just like they are now.
When he was 16 years old, he took a train from Oklahoma. He's a native of Oklahoma, D.
I didn't know
He,
that.
he took the train from Oklahoma up to Minneapolis to meet up with Florence, his his longtime pen pal. So he's a teenager corresponding about houseplants and stuff with Florence, gets on a train and goes up there,
That's
gets
awesome.
and comes back. And so he's in his late 80s, still living in Des Moines, Iowa. I met him ever so briefly, I think in I want to say 2018.
Really?
Ever so briefly. I went out to Des Moines for a garden com special
It
event
was a
kind of.
meetup. Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of a special event for younger garden writers. Not that I was younger. I actually ended up speaking at it because somebody else canceled. But anyway, Elvin McDonald was there. I briefly met him, and it's like, it was very interesting. So anyway, that's Florence Knock.
That was, I don't need a rabbit hole. That was the best one in a long time.
Anyway, she's a lost lady of garden
There were
writing.
like four in there, four rabbit holes within a rabbit hole.
I will put a link. Oh, and yeah, and then her bestest neighbor next door named a begonia after her. I think was it a begonia
Might
or
have been. It's the right time period.
named something after her, and that was her neighbor. And so it's like now I got her listed. So the list just keeps growing. Never mind. It's an insane. Trying to explain to somebody that your hobby is buying old gardening books and doing research on the authors, as long as they're American women.
I think that it just fits you to a T.
I don't know about that, but
I think it does.
oh
So
gosh.
garden commissions. My garden commission is it's supposed to rain really hard on Wednesday and Thursday. I was going to do some gardening, but I don't think that's going to happen. I am meeting with a client this afternoon after we finish planning next week's episode. And so I will do that. And then I'm going to get some more posts out because Bill and I filmed some. So there'll be some on Instagram. And there's just not much to do out there. I mean, I could do stuff out there, but that was the point of the Instagram I did yesterday, is that I only clean up the parts that are where I'm going to put the bulbs. And my bulbs aren't here yet because it's been too hot. I have a few tulips, that's it.
Right.
So the only thing I really have to clean up is the one up by the kitchen border. But other than that, I don't have to clean up too much, which kind of drives my friend Michelle, who comes and helps me sometimes. It drives her crazy because she thinks everything needs to be cut back to within an inch of its life. And I keep explaining to her it doesn't. But you have to choose when you do it, for you. Then the other part of this is that the other day she sent me a picture. She still works in my friend Lori's garden. Lori died, last summer, my friend Lori.
Right.
And she still works there for her husband, Nick. And she sent me a picture and she goes, "Can I please cut this back?" Because she doesn't always know. And you know what it was?
What?
A hellebore. And I said,
And you're like,
"No,
no, don't cut that back.
no." And she goes, "But it's so ugly." And I said, "And it will not be there next year if you cut it back because you have to let hellebores, of course, do their leaves through the winter time." Okay, so that's my garden commission. Yours?
So I am gonna get someone to haul away the stuff. I there's a service. It's run by firemen who do this on their off days. It's
Mm-hmm.
like you can almost schedule it the day you want it. But anyway, get that hauled off. And because I'm having that hauled off, I may actually cut back more in my perennial garden than I would normally would because it's like, well,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to haul it off and they'll take it to a place to be chipped and recycled and turned into compost and mulch and stuff. So it's not like it's going into the landfill.
Yeah.
So, and then you'll just die to know this, Dee. I
Well,
contacted a landscaper to get a quote to straighten up the beds in the vegetable garden cathedral and put down
good for
proper
you.
fabric and then go ahead and put mulch down and clean it all up. I thought
Nice.
I'm never getting. So we're supposed to get rain tomorrow. So the guys are going to come see if the roof leaks, which is not an exciting thing.
That
Uh,
is not a good, exciting thing, but there you go.
So I'm going to clean up more leaves as time permits and as they fall. And then I'm growing microgreens still. And who knows? They might call and say, hey, we're going to start your fence, Carol. And I'm
There you
ready for
go.
this project to
Maybe.
be done. I'm
I
ready
know
for
you
it to be
are.
done.
I know. I'm always that way too.
All right, that's me. Now we're on to the we do not care, which fits into something we talked about earlier.
Mhm.
And I'm
And
going
you
to
can,
change it a little bit.
you go for it.
We do not care if you don't like how we manage our falling leaves in the garden. We will do with them as we wish. And so we do not care what you think. We are doing what we want to do with our leaves.
And I would say that fits just pretty much anything in the garden. We
Yeah.
do not care what you think of what we do in the garden because believe me, people reach out and tell us that they think we are doing things wrong. I don't know. We're pretty successful at it, so I'm not too worried about that. Shall
Ditto.
we, so on that snazzy, feisty little ending, shall we snap it up and send it on its way?
We're going to send this one on its way. Thank you for listening to the Gardenangelists. We publish every week on Wednesdays at 12 a.m. Eastern Time. Be sure and follow us on Apple Podcasts. That helps us get noticed by others.
That was something Carol learned this past week.
2 weeks ago. Yes.
If 2 weeks ago, excuse me. If we subscribe to no, wait a minute, let's start over. If you subscribe to our Substack newsletter, you get a link to listen to the podcast a whole day early and links to the products we discuss. Plus, go over to YouTube and you can see us in person. I actually have to now take a shower because we do this in person. Anyway, full episodes there show up on Tuesdays also. So if you can't wait until Wednesday, you now have 2 ways to get episodes on Tuesday.
If you want to help support us, use our affiliate links. If you buy something after clicking through on them, we earn a small commission and it costs you nothing.
Or you can set up a monthly subscription through Buzzsprout or make a one-time donation through PayPal. You also have the option of pledging your support on Substack.
And we want to thank everyone who has done so. It helps us pay for podcast hosting.
It was lovely to chat with all of you over the Garden Gate. Bye until next week.
Bye, Dee. And now people think that you don't shower unless you have to be on the podcast. Bye.
Bye.